Hello and welcome to this short little video on Story Genius, a required book for MFA 700, 701, and 702 at Southern New Hampshire University. This book, Story Genius, written by Lisa Cron, takes a very interesting approach to writing stories, and it uses the concepts behind brain science to help us understand what a story is. Therefore, it'll help us write a good story. As I have read several different books on different approaches on how to write stories, I find this book to be very interesting in its approach. However, at the same time, there are a few things we need to consider whenever we read any sort of textbook that explains how to do something creative. A word to the wise is that whenever we read anything that we are trying to learn about, we should be thinking critically. What is the author trying to say? Why are they trying to say it? Do I believe them? What is their motivation behind saying this? And furthermore, we need to think critically. And in English classes, we learn how to think critically. We don't take everything at face value. It doesn't mean that what we're being told is wrong, but we need to consider the bigger picture when we're looking at that. In reading this book, I found it to be quite insightful on many topics. Yet, as I read it, there were more than one occasion when I felt like, have you ever heard the saying, you should take that with a grain of salt? Well, sometimes I feel like when I was reading this book, I need to take it with a tablespoon of salt. Ms. Cron has a very distinct style in the way she writes. At the same time, she takes an approach which often happens in books like this, where anything that doesn't agree with her viewpoint is an absolute wrong. Example, she wrote, "First, ditch the Oxford English's definition of story as something created for entertainment. It could not be more wrong." What is implied here is it could not be more wrong, in my opinion, or based on my definition of story, which I will share in this book. However, because it is stated it could not be more wrong, that comes across as factual, and that is a red flag for any critical thinker. When someone states that their opinion is the only correct opinion, we need to say, well, I will listen to what you have to say, I will consider what you have to say, but I need to take it and think about it on my own. Another example, and the main takeaway, which I absolutely agree with almost, is at its most basic, a story is about how someone grapples with a problem they can't avoid and how they change in the process. What I take from Ms. Cron is that stories are about characters primarily. This has been one of my mantras ever since I have been teaching, that if people don't care about the characters, they won't care about what happens to the characters. That's a story for a different day. However, even this statement is a little problematic, in my opinion. She states that a story is about a problem they can't avoid. Well, what exactly is the definition of a problem that someone can't avoid? That gives you a chance to pause and think, are there problems that we can avoid? Yet, this is stated as an absolute. It's a great way to stop and think about what's going on without necessarily taking it at face value. So, the final thoughts, and the reason I created this video, is I want to encourage students to read this book, keep an open mind, think about what's being presented here, because there are a lot of wonderful concepts. Yet, it's in my opinion that it's presented in a way that can really turn off readers because of the way it is written, as this is the only way it can be and everyone else is wrong. I don't believe that. I believe there are many different approaches, just as there are many different types of people. However, there are some excellent insights. Please take this, consider it, and at the same time, don't just take it at face value.